ways. I've been balling for the moment, but can't sight the better days. You fell off and now you lost the shit that you was just a phase. I became this on my own, no, this is not how I was raised.
Confidence, number one thing. It's the thing we hear the most, issue that pops up the most. When I get the calls every day, people inquiring about the academy training, that's always the thing. It's kid has a skill, yada yada, confidence. How do you view the issue of confidence, of how to fix it with what you see in the academy? How do you fix the confidence issues?
Repetition. Constant accountability, holding themselves and us with them. I don't think they can gain confidence unless they're put in situations every day where they lack confidence.
Yep. And that's what I tell the parents.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get to do the stuff that you're not comfortable with, and you shy away and avoid those situations, if you're never in them, it's never gonna get any better.
See, I always get the call it's always yeah, he just lacks confidence with handling the ball. So I'm looking to get him some private sessions where we can work on his ball handling. I need someone, and it's just not gonna help. I know people don't like to hear that, but it just doesn't work. And usually, I say this too all the time, now the kids that you see, your average fifth grader that you get who you've never met, they already have ball handling ability, because nowadays they just kind of do more shit. You know what I mean?
Very seldom do we meet a kid in that age range who doesn't have a certain basic skill set.
Yeah. Or even do a little bit more. They can pick it up off a dribble into a step back, or without never ever teaching them.
Yeah.
So it's they got enough skill. Now that same kid doesn't have the confidence. And so when you say repetition, what repetition?
Real reps, real defense reps.
Yeah.
Now this is if we're talking ball handling. And it goes the same way on the defensive end. Most kids are used to playing back on defense. Mm-hmm. When you're in this gym, you'll hear it on every video you ever hear, it's get up, force them to the weak hand, all that stuff. But if you're not doing that here, you're definitely not doing it in your other games.
Right.
And if we don't get to see your other games, but we see your game film and we tell you, hey, why don't you play defense there like you play here? Number one, they're probably not being told to, they're not being made to, they're not being held accountable for it. But you get on an island here 3, 4, 5 times in one game and you get yanked out for doing something wrong, or just get yanked out for just not challenging the person in the first place, you're going to start to, if I want to stay in the game, I got to do this.
Right.
And you're technically being forced in a position where you don't want to be.
Right.
And if you never do it, you never get better at it.
Yeah, right. And that's the other thing too. That's something that never gets brought up to us, but confidence on defense. Most of them don't press up.
Nope.
They don't have confidence on defense. They don't think they can
a lot
stop
of
anyone.
them, before they come to us, don't know how to, slide their feet at first, but then sprint to cut somebody off.
Right.
Those two things right there, I think are super important. Because
it's if you don't
we don't see it much.
No, it's if you don't have the skill, of the sliding your feet or never worked on it, it's hard to have the confidence. So I get it there, and I do tell people that. I'm you do need to work on your raw skills first, because I can't really even bother with trying to get you to go to the paint off 2 feet and to be confident if you physically can't even do the footwork. So I get that piece, but I tell people all the time, you got to understand, you don't need to pay us for that. You don't need to pay. You could just go home, just work on it, man. Trust me, you'll figure it out. Mm-hmm. Once you got that, then at that point you got to learn how to play and how to put it in, put it into practice. But that's what I tell people. It's you need as much as you can of the game situation that your kid doesn't like, whatever that is. You need that, and then the relentless coaching on top of it for like what we do.
I think and this could be not just us or any coach. I think the relentless coaching on top of it is probably the most important thing. Because if they don't get themselves in this position and stay in those positions day in and day out,
right?
I just went back to the same thing. They're not going to have the experience and never going to build the confidence.
And it's just so that ingredient is so unique. I hear all the time, people will call me, and especially when they're out of state, and I'll give them that rundown I just gave, and well, we don't have anything like that. And so, look, I get it. And so, sometimes people will be like, well, what, you just want me to come to your stuff? I'm like, yes. I'm telling you, if you can't
If that's
get
what you're
some-
looking for and you can't find it somewhere.
yeah, and like, I'm just telling you what has worked, right? I'm telling you what I've seen it work. So if you can't get to a Rel Academy, there are people out there who get it. You know, another thing, like, this is a whole nother topic I was going to say, like, there are people out there, there's coaches right now who are in their 60s, and they're actually player development coaches. They've never done a one-on-one session with a kid.
Yeah.
They never ran training businesses. But in actuality, like, they're the coach when the kid comes out of the game. They can quickly tell them XYZ, this is what just happened. Put them back in the game.
And you will see that in the game film when we watch it.
That's a player development coach. You know what I mean? Like, I think people have got the wrong idea that player development is coming in and working with a coach and sitting here doing these drills and posting it on the internet. Like, that's not player development. That's working out. And so, yeah, I'm telling you, you just got to dig. You got to dig in your area. And it's probably harder for some people than others. Like, I think about, all right, what am I going to do with my daughter when she hits 8 and she's ready to go for it's going to be hard. Like, you got to dig, and you may have to drive and pay and whatever it is, but there are people, man, there are people out there who are good enough to help you like that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to, like, how bad do you want help in the first place?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if you're not really searching for the help, you know, you're not gonna find it. But if you want it, you're gonna ask everybody you know around, hey, where can I find somebody like this?
Where you know when people are not searching for the help, and this is a big thing, you know, for parents out there, just humble yourself. I called the other day on the phone, and by all the things the guy was saying, he wasn't really looking for Rel Academy help. You know, he basically was rattling off all the things this kid is good at and telling me as to why it was kind of everybody else's fault or why it's not coming through. You're really not looking for help at that point. You know what I mean? And so that kid or the parent is going to be uncoachable. One of them is going to be tough. You know what I mean?
Kind of sounds like, you know, that person would have just been looking for a reassurance.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're like, after a few minutes, like, oh, this person just wants me to tell them that, like,
correct.
Yeah, which is fine. But again, when you talk about, like, so this same guy was telling me that his kid has all these skills, but it's not popping up in the game. Well, your kid is not confident in it. He or she is not confident to go in the game and use the skill. And how do you do that? This is kind of what we've been saying. You know, you need amazing, and when I mention, you know, practice to people, sometimes like, well, they play on a team. I'm like, no. That's not what I'm talking about. You know, if you are a dad in a neighborhood who can go round up 6 kids in your local neighborhood, even if they're not hoopers like that, and you're a good coach guy, a player development guy, put them in the back, let them play, and put them through some shit. That is like the type of practice.
Well, yeah, like going back to the coaching thing, like, when it comes to kids' confidence, it is so imperative that the coach puts that confidence in them
kid,
on the floor while games are going on.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch our game films, like, I know I'm always the loudest person in the gym, but it's like constant instruction, and it might not be, you know, happy-go-lucky, but it's you know, you did this wrong, and I'm going to tell you as the play goes, so next time down, you can try to fix it.
And then when you're just as loud when they do it right, that confidence shoots up.
Like, you can get a kid who has zero confidence in their game to me sitting on the sideline screaming, push up, and they're like, oh, okay, cool.
He's okay with me doing it,
And they know from what we go through here, they know that there are help spells behind it.
Right.
They know it.
Yeah.
Gives
And
them
that's how you
confidence.
do it.
Now, when they get to the other game, they might not be told to do it there, but maybe 4 times out of 10 down the court, they do push up.
They do.
And go right, so.
Yeah, and that's when we talk, coach yourself. Like, we've been yelling at you about it. We've been in your ear. Then are you going to go be in your own ear when you get away? And like that little scenario right there is like a perfect way. When someone asks, how are we going to do this? Your kid needs to be basically in a game situation, whether it's real or not. The coach needs to be basically yelling at them in a good way, but like consistently every play until that kid actually does it 1 or 2 times. Once that happens, boom, you've injected confidence.
And I go back to, if in our personal gym here, and you know, in our games, if you don't do these things, because we teach these things to these kids every single day of the week.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, now if you're a newer kid just with us, that's different. But if you know exactly, if we ask the question, hey, where are you supposed to be, and you know it, and you're not there, there's 0 excuses.
Right.
So you do come out of the game, and then you're, I want to stay in the game.
Yep.
I'm going to do these things I'm supposed to do. But
it's like the getting the bad parts, if you want to call them bad parts. The yanking the kid out of the game and getting on
Is all the help.
is part of the confidence.
Yep.
Yeah, like that is literally part of building the confidence. And when they come out, it's different. You know, I'm not saying yank your kid out and, you know, cuss them out and sit them down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying bringing kids out of the game.
Saying this is what you did wrong.
Yep.
This is why you're out. When you go back in and fix it.
Yep. This is how you fix it if he doesn't know.
Yep.
Put his ass right back in. Get him immediately right back in. Yell at him the way we were just saying through the play. Yell at him, talk him through it, have him do it, and watch that kid's whole demeanor change.
Yeah.
And then wash and repeat. Just keep doing it over and over and over. And all you can hope is that eventually one of those times it's going to turn on a light bulb, and that kid basically doesn't need. You could pull back from him a little bit, like he's off on it. He's off and running.
And we have all stages here.
Yeah, for sure. But
And the kids who have it, they know it, and the kids who are in the middle, they know it. And sometimes you even see on the court, the kids who have it, they'll help the other kids out.
that's when you really hit something. That's when you really hit something. Yep. Well, confidence is king for sure.
I agree.